Hola, it's me, Trashcan.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back. I'm still a little under the weather, still a little sick, but I feel good enough to start pumping out some more face cam videos for you guys. So we're gonna be going over the whole World Series, starting off with our first match against S8ul Esports. So there's a lot of new people on my channel, so for those of you that are new here, I just won Worlds in Yokohama, Japan. I'm the 2023 World Championship champion for Pokemon Unite, and I was actually the 2022 World Champion too. So, my team is currently the only World Champions in Pokemon Unite. And if you didn't watch Worlds, S8ul Esports was actually our hardest game. So, they were the only team we lost a game to. Obviously, your first game on stage are gonna be nerves. My team has always thought once we get past the group stage, we're usually gonna win the tournament. We're very confident in that, but we're very nervous for groups because, yeah, we know it's the first games on stage and anything can happen really. So, in draft here, we banned Leafeon, they banned Hoopa, and they first picked Lapras. So the reason we banned the Leafeon was because their early game was really good. I think after this game though, we decided that we did not like the Leafeon ban, and we ended up banning Lapras because Lapras was way too strong. So, little bit of a cope draft here. I don't really like our draft looking back on it. It was our first game, so we were a little nervous. We didn't really do hard draft prep for this tournament. We kind of mocked out some drafts ahead of time, but then we would go by feeling during the games because we've done hard draft prep hours ahead of time, and it actually doesn't help that much. We actually found we usually get better drafts in the games if we just let ourselves improvise and kind of don't have a hard set plan going in. So here we picked Zoro Comfy on 3-4 after they picked Umbreon Clefable. And when they have Lapras, Umbreon, Clefable, we should not have picked Zoro Comfy. We should have gone Venusaur. Probably Venusaur Blissey. Venusaur LD, something like that would have worked really well. Or even we could still take the Comfy, actually. Doesn't really matter that much. But we definitely should not have gone Zoroark into this core. Because the Zoroark really struggled this game. It was kind of just first game we're like, oh yeah, Zoro Comfy's an auto win against teams that we view as not able to match us mechanically in the early game. So we last picked the Blastoise here. So honestly, yeah, I do not like our draft. Looking at these drafts, probably the left side has a better draft. So I definitely should have gone with our Venusaur comp there, which we do later on in the tournament. After this game, we make several adjustments, which is not banning Leafeon because we figured out Leafeon's actually pretty useless. We didn't play it a single game. I think we rarely banned it too. So starting out, we have the Comfy leash the red buff, and then they're just gonna leash the entire jungle just in case of invade, and the enemy team's EV does invade. There I get the mid Audino because you can see I have 5 points. So a tip for spectating these games, because even casters tend to struggle, is just look at the points beforehand and after. Overlord and Elo do get the blue buff and kill, so that's a huge start for us, for them killing the Umbreon. But yeah, just look at the points above people's heads and on the farm, and you can just do simple math to see. But great start for us. Overlord already got a stack in. They tried to invade, didn't work, and we're hard winning bot side. So yeah, bees are gonna come, and Overlord's just gonna stay bot because the Urshi showed here. kyriaos secures bees, which lets him live against the Urshifu because he gets invincible, and I managed to kill the Urshifu with my auto. So even though our draft is bad, which obviously we didn't think so at the time, the game is going very well at the start. kyriaos does die for a score here, unfortunately. I think he should have tried to flash behind me so I could tank the booster auto instead of flashing all the way away. And he probably would have lived. But the death is not that big of a deal. We're still fine, and bottom doing really well. Top lane is kind of islanded, so one issue is going to be that the Lapras is going to be really fed, so that's something we have to be careful of later in the game. But overall, this early game is going very, very well for us. I'm just going to help Overlord on bees here, but as soon as the Urshifu shows bot, I run bot to help kyriaos. And kyriaos did a really good job here chunking the Urshi. I think he actually secured that farm too. Let me look back. Yeah, he has 4 points, so you can see he got the farm. He has 9 points now. So really well played by everyone so far in the game. Rhinne's doing a really good job of holding down like 1v2 basically. He's actually higher level than Lapras, so they're getting pretty fucked right now in this game. They're just waiting for the Lapras to overextend, but it takes too long, so Overlord decides to go into their jungle and invade their 3rd rotation. Once he gets the Clefable though, he thinks he can dive top, so they're gonna try to do a top dive here. The Urshi does show up, so they're gonna leave. Lapras is just broken, so it was a nice try, and they played it really, really well, but Lapras is just too broken a Pokemon. It's honestly just a draft gap. So they send 4 people top here, but it's fine. We're just gonna leave, and I'm gonna fast forward to Overlord just farms and comes all the way down. We're stalling bot because we're super ahead. kyriaos is going snipe shot this game with Felsteiner, and we're just gonna start ripping because we have way better secure. Overlord illusions the mean look, which is huge. Chunks the Urshi a lot. And we're just ripping it. We're going to use Inteleon Unite to rip. So, unfortunately, I don't know what happened to Overlord's full heal. Or maybe he didn't have it. So, he does die because he gets mean looked. And this is where we throw the game. Because we were hard winning before. Elo gets off me for some reason. Which was definitely hard troll. I remember like right after it happened, I'm like, Elo. So he definitely hard trolled here. And they 5-man bot and they push. And because I'm pretty sure if we had Comfy here, I stay alive on pad, we stop all their scores. I still do stay alive, but with Comfy, we could definitely stop all their scores really. And they wouldn't be able to kill us on pad like this. But obviously Overlord trolled too to begin with. So it kind of snowballed into big mistakes. And the issue with our comp is if we fall behind like this, where they just got a ton of comeback XP, they scored a ton of points, it's going to be a very hard game for us because their comp is very hard for our comp to kill if we're even levels. So we were hard winning the early game and everything was fine, but now the game is kind of bricked. Now it's kind of doomed because they're the same level as us. We're just going to have to pray we can really outplay them, but this is where the draft gap really starts to show. As soon as you make a couple of mistakes, which is going to happen, like I don't blame Elo and Overlord for those small mistakes. Like it's bound to happen on Worlds. Everyone's nervous, so that's why you need to account for that in draft really, which is what we didn't, which is why we made a lot of draft adjustments after this game. But yeah, this game is honestly so bricked now because now they're just higher level than us. They got the objective, and we're just gonna have to win a team fight somehow late game when they have a way better team fight comp than us. Overlord's doing his best, but he really just can't move here. And yeah, now they have a huge point lead. They have a huge EXP lead, and we're playing from behind. So, obviously, we're just going to try to 5-man this objective. Actually, Overlord decides to stop Lapras cap, which is fine. We're just going to have to try to stall down here from them ripping it. We do have better secure, so we're doing a good job stalling while Overlord just kills the Lapras. So, honestly, this is really good for us because we have better secure. We dragged it to leash, which is really good too. And Overlord's just going to kill the Lapras top eventually. I think he missed one of his combos, but they're not really showing it, so it's taking a while. And now Overlord can either come bot or score top. He might want to score top to get his stacks in. But yeah, they're just going to rip it. We're just going to do our best to stall here. And the Mew does steal it, unfortunately. That was really close. I definitely think we had better odds on it. But that's just unlucky. The Inteleon auto barely didn't get it. Really well played by the Mew. And Urshifu unites here. So honestly, not the worst for us. We got huge scores in top. We're now even in points and pretty even in experience, if not ahead. So they waste a lot of time on this bot thing. I stop all of their scores barely. They do break with only 6, which is really good. That's what we like to see. Overlord's really struggling into their comp, but manages to get on the Mew in the backline. And this is a huge fight for us. But then the Lapras comes in, unites Overlord. Yeah, and then me and rhinne kind of mistimed there. I surfed right as he surfed them away, so he kind of surfed them out of my surf, which is unfortunate too. And rhinne's gonna go down for that. So yeah, the fight was honestly pretty good for us, considering it's just like, honestly, I think this comp, you really can't make any mistakes if you want to win into the enemy draft. And after we made a couple mistakes at 7 minutes, the game just becomes very, very hard. So I do remember the Ray fight being close, but we're just gonna farm up. Overlord's gonna try to continue to get scores in for his remaining stacks. I feel like he's like 4 stacks at this point, so it's not the worst, but 6 stacks on Zorik is way better. It's the best stacking Pokemon in the game for your ratios. So getting those attack rate stacks is really important, and he's still missing a couple, I'm pretty sure, which is a big issue, especially because they have Clef and stuff. So huge grass snap by Elo, and we get a huge fight here. And honestly, what happens is the Lapras, the Mew surfs Inteleon into the Lapras, uniting him. So that was really unfortunate. And then I think we used our Blastoise Unite a bit prematurely here. Didn't have to Blastoise Unite. But honestly, it worked out fine. And then, yeah, kyriaos got caught out. Honestly, looking back at this fight, he should probably kite up here. There's not really any threats to kill him because I have Slowbro Unite. So if he walks up this way, because the Lapras is obviously missing, and if the Lapras comes from this way, Overlord can kind of tank the Lapras Unite for kyriaos to live, because he can dash into the Lapras, tank it, so that our Inteleon lives, and that's probably the way we win the team fight from this point. So he needs to kite up like this, but obviously we don't have much vision, so it's hard to tell in the heat of the moment, and he goes down like that. And then I Slowbro Unite the Urshi, but I probably could have waited here. I was scared of dying to Lapras Parasan because I'm already very low health, and Parasan will kill you through your shield. So I felt like I needed to Unite like right there. But honestly, I didn't see that Lapras already used one of his Parasan. So once he already uses one, I'm not in danger for like 10 seconds. So honestly, a little more awareness in this fight by me, kyriaos, and rhinne. And we still could have won the fight. Obviously, it is a draft gap though, so we have to play it like perfectly. The enemy team by no means played it like perfectly either, but their draft is just so much better than ours late game. And now the fight's gonna reset, and we are coming back with Inteleon Unite, so we are favored in this fight. The issue, well, we are supposedly favored, but the issue is they have just a way better comp late game, and Overlord has to kite out, and the Comfy gets on me. Honestly, I think Overlord should have reset at this point. But yeah, we're really struggling. See, like, we get them all low health, but the problem is that they have Clefable to heal. Meanwhile, we have Comfy, so we can't really heal. And they are up 80 points, so we have to try to do something here. And we decide it's probably really hard to rip into Lapras Clefable, so our only chance is to score. However, India reads this really, really well. Kept their Urshifu on the jump pad. And yeah, at this point, it's doomed. So really well played by India. Losing your first game at Worlds is really nerve-wracking. I think everyone was just nervous. No one was tilted or anything after this loss. I think we all felt like we could have easily won this game, and we all weren't very happy with how the draft played out. But mainly we felt like we should have won this game anyway, so we weren't too upset. You can see, like, I feel like in our faces you can kind of see it. It's just kind of nervous anxiety, but we're like, we can do this. So the team atmosphere was still pretty good. India's very excited. All right, kyriaos does not look very happy, but I think it's because he got caught out a bit. But I mean, the rest of the team besides kyriaos, who looks a little tilted, is like chilling. So it's funny that the camera guy found the right face to zoom in on for like the dramatic tension, you know? So yeah, after this game, I think we figure out, hey, just don't give them Lapras. But we do switch sides, so it's not like we have to ban Lapras, because we're just going to first pick Lapras if they don't ban it. So I'm going to skip forward to the next draft. And we decide to ban Slowbro, just in case we want to go the Speedster comp. I don't think we do this game from what I remember, but yeah. First pick Lapras is very obvious. So Seoul, they ban Hoopa because I think their support does not play Hoopa, and they know it's very broken. So a lot of teams actually had issues with their Mon pools. Even Omo who almost got second place, had huge issues with their mon pools. So I think that goes to show that draft doesn't necessarily mean like you need a wide, intense variety pool. There's definitely ways to still win, even if your pool is not that good. However, I do think if there's a team good enough at variety, like our team is kind of good at every Pokemon, then it does kind of come to bite you in the butt. That you can't play every Pokemon. Obviously, it's going to end up being a weakness if you play against a team that's really good at drafting at variety. And I think that's kind of what our team became later on in the tournament. And yeah, so we don't play a speedster, but we do play Blue Urshifu this game with Comfy. And I really like our draft here. We have a Thanos draft. I think the drafts are not even close. So going into game 2, obviously we're still a little nervous. We lost our first game on the world stage. So we're gonna have the same drill. The Comfy leashes the whole jungle. So the reason for this is because you can see the enemy team's going to invade, and we knew this would happen. So we actually had kyriaos try to rip the blue before the tree could get there. However, yeah, it did not work out. That was not a good strat. I actually believe that was kyriaos' plan. I think no one told him to actually rip the blue. I wasn't sure what he was doing there, but yeah, we told him to cover the blue for the tree maybe. I forget. Maybe he was told to rip it, but yeah, it's definitely not a good strat. And top lane's going okay-ish because Rhinne is an island alone, so he's gonna level 4 at least, which means it's not the worst. We're gonna have 4 people bot here, but the Leafeon bot is a problem with the solar beam. However, we're probably gonna be able to kill him on B, so it's just gonna be a challenge of it's a 4v2 bot and who can kill who better in Snowball the game, because it's kind of just a coin flip, right? It's kind of like a base race. So they have 3 people top. They're gonna try to pressure the Lapras. We have 4 people bot. We're gonna try to pressure the 2 people, and it's who can do a better job of snowballing the game from that point. And that's why Lapras is broken though, because I believe if you had to pick any Pokemon for that role, I would choose Lapras. Maybe Slowbro, but yeah, Slowbro is really good too, but it's definitely Lapras or Slowbro for that spot. And yeah, so we pressure them off. We get our scores in, which is huge. I forget if Overlord's running stacking. Or wait. Yeah, it was Overlord on Blue Urshifu. I forget if he's running stacking. A lot of Blue Urshifus do not run stacking anymore. But either way, points scored for EXP is good, and they are going to invade. So is our Blue Urshifu. They're going to invade, and I believe they just come top here to kill the Buzzwole, because we know that they're invading. So this is actually, if you can get Rhinne back into the game. So Rinne's going to go to score. Now Rinne's back in the game. It's honestly worth not taking the buff for that. However, they do send in time to cover because the Buzzwole had focus ban. But killing the Buzzwole, getting his focus ban is still very good. I think it's better than going for the buff, honestly, to help Rhinne a bit in his lane. Now Rhinne got a ton of farm, got some stacks in, and the Buzzwole has no focus ban, so it's going to be a lot easier for Rhinne to play this game. Because if you just leave top lane alone, right, what will happen is the Buzzwole just has a huge lead. He's going to pressure the Lapras with his huge lead, and there's nothing the Lapras can do. So as jungler, it's important to keep in mind trying to get your laners back into the game. And this is why we banned the Leafeon on the first game. The Solar Blade is very annoying in lane. You can see it's just stealing everything. I believe I go for stacks there, which is fine. I do need my stacks on Umbreon, and I'm going to be up for the bees, I believe. No, actually not. So it is a little bit of an int death. I think I just didn't know how many people were bought, so I thought it would be fine. But Overlord still is full heal to go through the Cleft Gravity, so this was really good. The Inteleon thought he was safe with the Cleft Gravity, walked up a little too far. You can see here, so Cleft Gravities, Inteleon's like, oh, I'm safe. And then, yeah, Overlord just full heals through the gravity, kills him. So that is really, really good for us, that they're winning this 3v3 topside. But yeah, that's to be expected of Blue Urshifu. That's why you look at the drafts, and I think our draft is much better because our early game is better, our late game is better. So how do they play the game? Our team fights are better. So yeah, I'd say the only time we're weak is in kind of the skirmishes, but there are definitely ways to play where you don't have to take skirmishes. especially when you have Umbreon and Lapras. You can just hold the pads. And so here you can see this is a common tactic. We aggro the Reggie to leash. See, so I hit the Reggie, I drag it out. And what this does is it stalls the enemy team from being able to hit this Reggie for 10 seconds, because you can see they're trying to hit it and it'll heal. So if you need to stall out bot, which is what we do a lot, where we apply a lot of pressure topside, we're getting so much XP on the map here. So like, even if they get the Reggie, the experience we're getting across the map on our carries is equal, right? So me and kyriaos might fall a little behind, but on these guys it's equal, or they'll get even more EXP than the Reggie would have given them, like a lot more actually. And then if you can stall the Reggie with like tactics like this, bot, learning how to stall very well, that's kind of probably my best strength as a defender. I'm really good at the stall tactics, being very annoying, staying alive. So you can see here, we stalled them for so long, we bought so much time, and they still haven't gotten the Reggie in a 2v4. So we just stalled the Reggie for like 30 seconds from them being able to take it, and we're just going to hold the pad here. We're still full health to try to hold the pad. They do end up Leafeon uniting me because they had enough. So yeah, being able to force out the Leafeon unite, and they only scored 20 points. So this is a really good stall by us. Now the Fed, Overlord, and Rhinne, who were just collecting experience on the other side of the map, are just going to come in here and clean up. So this is a classic example of how the Reggie bot can be a bait. So you can see, like, I mean, sometimes your solo queue randoms are onto something. A lot of like expert players, they like to call themselves, will say like, oh, bot Reggie's always better. Like, no, trust me, there are times the top Reggie is better even in competitive. So you can see we got so much experience across the map, and Overlord's just going to pressure the side as Blue or Shifu with the Comfy. He's so safe, even with the Clef, and he's just getting a Knight here, trying to get some kills. Unfortunate he couldn't get onto the Leafeon there. That was just kind of unlucky. I thought that would have been a kill there. Maybe if he had the Surging Strike twice immediately instead of trying to auto cancel. But yeah, I do let in 17 points in here. Let me see what happened. Oh, I was just farming the crab. I didn't want to risk going for a score, so I was going to head back immediately, but the tree managed to sneak past in mid because we have no vision. So unfortunate, but not the biggest deal, only 17 points. And we're going to get the tree's X speed out, which is good. Keeping track of Pokemon's like summoners or passive abilities are very, very good. If we could have gotten the tree's passive, that would have been even better, but unfortunately not able to. The tree's also pain split, which is interesting. I think Hornleech would have been much better this game. But that looked very weird. The animation for that looked extremely weird. What the heck? So the Buzzwole grabs Overlord, and Overlord's gonna insta unite to cancel the rest of Overlord or the Buzzwole CC because it gives unstoppable. However, he still does go down because it's a 3v4 and they're all just only hitting him. And obviously I came in trying to help. I'm gonna Umbreon unite, I'm gonna stun 3, and me and the Lapras are gonna clean up all of them. So they did get a huge comeback kill on Overlord. So honestly, like, even though they all died, it was kind of worth for them because the kill on Overlord is just so much experience that our kills on them when they're lower health don't really matter that much. Although it is good experience for me and Rhinne since we weren't that far ahead. But I mean, it's kind of even where like they killed Overlord. So honestly, like, that's a trade we wouldn't want, like, preferably. But we did manage to get as much as we could out of it, so it's not the worst. And Overlord's just trying to rip this solo, but the Leafeon does show, so he tries to turn here on them, but they're just gonna try to finish. However, yeah, kyriaos does eject button in time, and we get the bot Reggie, so that's huge. And now we're just gonna try to pressure bot because there's 2 dead. However, we found there was a tree, so probably not. And I'm Snarl Mean Look this game because they do have a Clefable, so Foul Play is really good in a lot of situations, but they have Inteleon Leafeon, so Mean Look is really good into those. You hit them with the Mean Look and they're probably gonna die. And then my Foul Play would get canceled by the Clefable, so that's why I think Mean Look is a lot better this game on Umbreon. And we get a huge pick on the Buzzwole here, and we're just going to pressure both pads to score. And they're going to score a bot, but the amount of points we got in return was honestly really worth it. They do get a 50 overcap here, which is kind of unlucky. So that's really good on their Inteleon, the experience. But yeah, he does die for it, so it's not the worst. And we're gonna chase them little bit, but we're gonna have to back up eventually. So levels at the Rayquaza, they have a level 13 Buzzwole, level 13 Inteleon. I think the Inteleon should be a little close to 14 if he's not gonna hit 14 like right now. Yeah, he's trying to take some farms, so it looks like he's close to 14. But we have a level 14 Lapras, which that is the biggest issue for the enemy team. How do you kill a level 14 Lapras? And both our defenders are level 12, which also, like, a level 12 Umbreon fully stacked Eos Cookie is such a problem. So looking at our comp, like, how is an Inteleon, Leafeon, Buzzwole going to kill our comp? So just looking at the levels here, the team fight is already pretty much doomed for them. Like, no matter how well they play it, I don't think there's a way they can win the team fight. You can see they actually play it really well here, and it's still just not really close. We're still like 90 points ahead, so they really need to get the Rayquaza to win probably. Rhinne's just going to score another 100 off the back of that team fight. So I'm just going to be annoying on the tree here. Make sure he stays low health. And he can't really do anything to me. I'm going to out sustain him even though he's pain split. So yeah, he eventually goes down because I had him trapped. And they're going to try to converge on Rhinne here. But again, level 14 Lapras. He even has Lapras Unite. So yeah, this game was just bricked for them. Look at their comp. They have nothing to kill tanks. We had a level 14 Lapras, level 14 Urshi, level 12 Umbreon. It's literally unplayable for them at this point. So they did have a level 14 Inteleon, but that is one of the weaknesses of Inteleon that I think a lot of people don't realize. He is not good into tanky comps. He doesn't do enough damage to kill him. So with Inteleon, you need someone that can kill tanks, like a Delphox, a Gardevoir, something like that on your team. Otherwise, you're going to really struggle. Or a Sylveon Hyper Voice could work as well. Maybe like a melee killer like Zacian could also work. But yeah, they have Leafeon, Inteleon, Buzzwole. They literally have no damage to kill us. So this was kind of a draft gap, in my opinion, a hard draft gap. So we definitely brought it back from the first game. Oh, there's Elo. And we can look at the damage. So yeah, Overlord doing 100k both games so far. I think he almost had an average of like he almost had an average of 100k. I think it was at like 90k, unfortunately. He was sad about that, but yeah. So this is our adjusted draft, right? So when they were first pick, we didn't ban Lapras the first time, and they got Lapras, and that was a huge issue for us. So when we were first pick, we got to pick Lapras, so we didn't have to change our draft for that. But this time we adjusted our draft. We banned the Lapras, and they first picked Leafeon actually, which we did not expect. We thought they'd first pick Slowbro or Inteleon. So we just pick up the Slowbro Inteleon. They're gonna go Umbreon Clefable. So they're just trying to deter the Speedster comp. And we're just gonna go Zacian and Blissey because Zacian just farms their comp with like Clefable, Umbreon, Leafeon. And I believe, yeah, we go last pick Venusaur. So this is what the first game should have looked like. We do have a Blissey into Umbreon, which is kind of a terrible matchup. Like Umbreon hard counters Blissey. But we thought it was necessary for the Venusaur to stay alive. So sometimes Blissey is just a necessity. If you watch my tier list video, I kind of talk about that. How like some drafts you just need Blissey. Like, do you want to take Blissey? Not necessarily, but look at these drafts. Basically our team is much better. It's kind of an even early game, but I'd say if the levels turn out even late game, then our team is much better in the fight. However, this game is a little scary because the early games are like 50-50, I'd say. So because of that, it could go either way. So if one team snowballs out of control, it could be very hard for the other team later in the game. So definitely it just comes down to like this draft kind of just comes down to pure skill versus like an actual draft gap. I think like we got a good draft, a good answer to their comp, but it's not like a winning draft per se, because the early game could go very south. But it is a draft very much that we can skill check them, and that is drafts we like because we're very confident in our skills, especially early game in lane. I believe the next match I'm covering against Time to Shine, we'll go over how me and kyriaos 6-0'd in lane, and we were the only team to do that. 6-0 basically means we got every single Adino in the lane. Yeah, their Clef just stacked there after Bs. I'm not sure if that's worth because the Zacian's going to be able to pressure the lane really easily once it's at 1v2. Bot lane is obviously always going to win because of Inteleon, and kyriaos does try to invade after hard winning bot. However, the A9 goes to cover him, so that's unfortunate. If it was him versus Leafeon, he'd probably win that. But yeah, just going to play safe in the lanes because the enemy team has a Leafeon. So you can see we're playing a lot more passive in the lanes because of that. We're scared of the Leafeon ganking. It is very easy to die to Leafeon. So we're just going to show up to mid Bs. The Leafeon does try to kill Blissey, but Elo just pops the X speed. And we do get the big, but kyriaos is probably going to die for it. However, the Leafeon's really low, so Leafeon dies. That's a very worth trade. Just sack kyriaos to get EXP on Overlord. That is a very common strat. We did it in a lot of our games. And they get absolutely fucked by this Vine Whip by Overlord. If you look here, so I think I score. Yeah, I scored like a good amount of points, like I think 20 points or so. And then I walk up here and I pinch them. So they're absolutely fucked because rhinne came to pinch them from here, so they can't go through here. Which honestly, that would have been their best bet. Trying to run through here, they maybe could have gotten out. But they're scared of the Zacian, obviously, right? And then I'm coming from bottom side to pinch them as well. So they're just absolutely fucked here. And then Overlord hits a Vine Whip on all three of them. And yeah, Zacian comes in. Unfortunately, Zacian does go down, which actually surprised us. We didn't expect that. But now we're just going to crash top here. We're going to get 60 points in. So it turned out really well for us. kyriaos is just going to respawn, run bot, and be able to cover. And I believe I tell Elo to reset and go down because since I'm scoring, I'm not going to be down for Bs. We do want 2 people down there for Bs. So Elo's going to run down to try to cover for kyriaos. So this early game ended up going very, very well for us. kyriaos manages to solo kill the Leafeon. Honestly, the Speedsters into Inteleon Liquidation is not a good matchup for the Speedsters. They can actually very, very easily lose that if they make one mistake. So Overlord almost dies there, but manages to kill the Blastoise. And he's just going to reset run bot level 9. I feel like this is where an int does happen. Because basically we were going to have rhinne invade. We have 3 people bot, but we have a level 9 Venusaur, so it should be fine. Oh yeah, here's the issue. Overlord just kind of used his Unite like he was playing Solar Beam. Overlord is better at Solar Beam than the Petal Dance build. So that was definitely int. He should save his Unite to secure so he can stall him a long time for rhinne to come down. Or he can use his Unite to fight if they try to engage on him because Venusaur passive basically makes you do way more damage when you're low health. So definitely a misplay by Overlord there. He got a little greedy thinking he could kill him like he was the Solar Beam build. But honestly, even though they got the kill on Overlord, they got the Reggie. We won the early game so hard, we're still even. So again, if both teams are even by the late game, we will hard win. So it's not that bad of a game state, even though we lost the first Reggie. Honestly, the biggest takeaway I want you guys to have from these videos is the first Reggie does not matter. You can see, I think we've lost like pretty much every single Reggie in these games. And it doesn't really matter for the experience wise. But yeah, so holy shit. So the Fable got Hydro Pump on his roll and killed kyriaos. It was so unlucky. I unite the Leafeon, but because they killed kyriaos, we're not able to capitalize much off it. But we are going to be able to get this top Reggie. And what we're going to do is we're going to run bot and force with it. I think we're going to farm. And they had to keep one top on the Reggie. And we're just going to force bot here. We managed to catch the Leafeon out, I believe. Does Elo catch him? Well, I mean, yeah. Leafeon's 1 HP. See, and here's the problem. Blastoise is stuck top. So, it's basically a 5v4 for them. But they do... So, they one-shot Overlord again. And honestly, this is just nerve still. Like, what Overlord... The issue that Overlord did here is he united again without his Giga Drain passive. Or like, so you want to Giga Drain first to get damage reduction. So he should have Giga Drained first and then tried to Unite move them. And he would have lived easily. He would have gotten the Bliss Unite and they all would have died. Unfortunately, because he died, Elo was trying to spam his Bliss Unite when he saw Overlord get low, but he got one shot. So the Bliss Unite goes on me. It was honestly pretty bad. because the Umbreon's stealing all our shields too. But Rhinne pops the fuck off here, kills them all. Zacian is hella broken. And so the play was a little int, but it still worked out, which was really good. And kyriaos ints a little there, taking some of the points. You really do not want to take points from Zacian. But our team honestly did not play with Zacian enough. So we do make some ints like that where we take the points away from Zacian on the ground. And yeah, so again, Overlord's kind of inted both fights a little, but it's just nerves really. And as long as we're even for the Rayquaza fight, it's gonna be fine. Looks like Rhinne did get caught out and die here. Let me look at what happened. Oh yeah, he was just trying to invade, I guess, and the Blastoise collapses on him. Yeah, unfortunate. I was with him trying to help, but there's not much I can do. They don't have much damage though, so they shouldn't be able to kill me. They're trying to force bot, so I'm kind of just trying to live. And they're 4-man running out bot, but Overlord is here to stall them from doing it. And now Overlord's going to unite again. And I think this time, because he did the proper combo, he's going to be just fine. Although they do use like 3 unites, he should still be fine. And this is the strength of Venusaur. You can see they just don't have enough damage to kill him. So as long as you combo properly, especially once it gets to the later stages of the game, they're just not going to be able to kill Overlord. And at this point, the game's pretty bricked for them because they're honestly pretty behind, only level 12 on... Oh, they do steal. The A9 steals it, so that is unfortunate. Again, I do think these are just nerves. You can see it. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we should be winning, should be getting, but we don't. And that fixes itself later on in the tournament. People are obviously going to be nervous the first game on. I honestly thought... I think I played pretty well this series. I think S8ul played pretty well this series. Rhinne honestly played pretty well too. But yeah, now it's the Ray fight. We're just kind of positioning around. So the main thing here is to pocket Overlord. So you can see we have the tank and the healer hovering around Overlord. We have the Zacian going topside for positioning. And basically, you can see I'm not even frontlining. Overlord's more the front line. I'm scouting out here for the Leafeon because we don't have vision. So Leafeon is topside, but if the Leafeon's in these bushes, I really need to create space for Overlord to breathe. And so I can just insta-unite the Leafeon. And obviously we have a wall here to the Inteleon from this side too. So we're keeping our Venusaur and Inteleon very safe with our position here. That's the goal at the Ray fight. So you can see I'm just literally sitting in this bot left L, just making sure the Leafeon cannot flank. As soon as the Leafeon shows top, that's when we can start to run at them. So I can start being more of a front line, and Rhinne does a really good job. 1v2 kills the Leafeon here, and the Leafeon uses Unite. So Rhinne played insane in this series, and we're just gonna slow Unite to hard engage on them. And we did use 3 Unites, so that is a bit of an issue. We have to be careful, and we have to force something. Kyriaos does walk up a little too far as we're doing this and gets one shot by their attacker, so that is unfortunate. Honestly, because they were scoring 100 top, we wanted a hard force, but we're still like I think it was fine. I think Kyriaos just shouldn't have walked up, but if they didn't kill Rhinne up top there, we could have played a little safer. I could have sat in this bush I'm in right now, and that would have kept Kyriaos from dying. But we did want a hard force because the Blastoise was scoring top, and we have to force the Rayquaza because we used a lot of Unites. So we want to stagger them is what this is called. So we want to fight them before all 5 of them are up and they can do a clean 5v5 team fight, because that would be kind of bad for us. And you can see here, they just don't have enough damage to kill the Venusaur. Venusaur just runs through their entire team. And even though they had more Unites than us, they had an Umbreon Unite, it does not. Sorry about that abrupt cut. My cat was pawing out my door, so I was confused. But yeah, so basically we have to flip because we're down in points, and yeah, we're running out of time. So you can see here, I get it with Scald, and honestly their comp I think has like just as good odds. It was honestly a 50-50 on who gets this. So I don't know, like sometimes you just get that like sixth sense, you know, like I literally knew like my body was telling me when to scald. It was like, if you scald right now, I knew I would get it. And I don't get that feeling often. It's like once every 100 games or so. But I literally knew I would get it if I timed it right at that point. I don't know how to explain it. I think it just comes with experience. I know it sounds a little weird to explain. But yeah, that is our set versus India. It's very sus. Came down to a 50-50 flip. You can see they're just like, bro, like, we lost the flip and that's how we go out. Like, I'm happy I got the recall. As you can see, we call it the slash smile. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That was our most nerve-wracking game in Worlds. It was honestly a really fun series. And Overlord even said during it, he was like, that is the hardest series we're gonna play. And he was right. You can see kyriaos is just tilted about the whole series. Even though we won, he still looks tilted. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.